back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for tapping back in to see what I have to say. I promise y'all, it truly does mean the world to me. But with that being said, let's hop into it. We're talking about Quant, but first, I know y'all are like, why is he in his bathrobe? Now, for my day oneers, they understand. My very first video, it was super impromptu. I was literally just sitting here having my coffee like I'm having right now, and I was watching my DLT news. And for my sub out there that told me about the Yorkshire tea, I'm going to try that Yorkshire tea, okay? But yes, I'm having my coffee and I'm just watching my DLT news. I'm watching the political climate, and I opened up my phone and I see that the market is dumping. And I'm like, oh, come on, you guys. We just had a Trump pump. Now we're getting a Trump dump. Like, come on now. But so I said all that to say, that first video that I did, my very first video was like this. I was just in my bathrobe. It was super impromptu. I was watching my crypto news, and I just had a thought of just the bull run and how the bull run is going to go. And if we have a decoupling from Bitcoin, how that will go from a market of speculation and hype driven news like a tariff, or more things like an Hedera and a Quant and like a XRP and a XLM, actual companies that are bringing to the market a solution to a current problem they're either already facing or will be facing in the future. There's two totally different markets, you guys, okay? And then I coupled that knowledge of utility versus that whole speculation. Bitcoin doesn't swing up, so the rest of the market swings up. Bitcoin doesn't swing down, the rest of the market swings down. That speculation, that's off of news and that's the reason why I said, remember the other day I said, I don't want Quant to move off of an announcement. I want Quant to move off of utility behind that announcement. Meaning after the announcement, maybe 2 or 3 years have gone by and whatever was announced during the announcement is now up and operational and running, like the RLN going from a proof of concept or to an actual thing that is running throughout the UK. That's what I want Quant's price to pump off of, because at that point in time, it's not hype and speculation. It's actually real world utility in use running. That's why things like secure asset transfer protocol is so important, because yes, the announcement of secure asset transfer protocol coming out of the ITF is incredible. And I have a video that I just posted yesterday in regards to that. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. So if you don't know what the ITF is, if you don't know what secure asset transfer protocol is, I go deeper into it. But I have another video coming out tomorrow, and I'm going deep into ISO TC 307. Follow me so you guys really understand, so you can see with your own 2 eyes what the vision truly is and how Quant is right there orchestrating it all. So again, I don't want it to move off of speculation or a pump from Bitcoin or pump from Trump tweeting something about a reserve. Think about that. Because just as fast as it went up, what has happened to the market? It's crashing now. No, we want a decoupling, and there will be a decoupling. And we will go into a utility-driven market. And understand, you want to be on the right side of that utility-driven market. Because along with the utility-driven market will come regulations. And understand, anything that cannot be regulatory compliant cannot exist within the jurisdiction of those regulations. Understand what is truly being laid out in front of you, and see that things like Quant Network has been at the table with regulators, and so has Hedera Hashgraph, and so has Ripple, and so has XLM. You have certain companies like Crypto.com that literally has a seat on the CFTC. I mean, you have to truly understand what is being laid out right in front of you. I don't just come on here and talk out the side of my head. I come out here and I talk out the side of reason and understanding of deep analyzation of the process. And when I say the process, again, like I said, going all the way back to the 20s. If you haven't caught that video, go watch that video. I'll link that one at the end of this one as well. And understand how the cycle of money is done. Understand how when the powers that be come together and devise a plan The people like you and me do nothing but live through it. Now, whether that's a plan of making them extremely rich, whether that's a plan of whatever the plan is, switching out a currency, understand what's happening right in front of our faces. You don't have central bankers all over the world talking about distributed ledger technologies. You don't have central bankers all over the world talking about CBDCs because DLT, aka blockchain, has no value. But you don't want to be coupled with something that is hype driven, that drives speculation in the market. And yes, does the utility route take longer? Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll be holding, some of you have been holding some of these things like your HBAR and your Quants. Some people that messaged me have been holding Quant since 2017, 2019. You know what I'm saying? Some of them even longer than that. So understand if they have held, some of you newbies, 6 months, a year, 2 years, trust me, the vision is so much bigger than the weight. Because what that team is pulling off globally is nothing not to be paid attention to. When you start having a technology being mentioned in patents, when you have a technology, that same patent technology being mentioned, in global standards, when you have that same patented technology now being mentioned in internet protocols, when you have that same patented technology, that is a very tongue twister, now being mentioned in literally the facilitation of banking rails, things like the RLN out of the UK, things like the real-time gross settlement system of the UK, you understand what is being laid out in front of you. We are going to swing from a speculation-driven market. There will be a decoupling from everything meme, from the biggest meme coin that there is, and people can take this anywhere they want to take it, but it is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, yes, you want to call it now in 2025 a store of value. But before it reached the store of value status, it has been driven off of nothing but the price and speculation of what the market would give it, period. It had nothing to do with actual companies that are in the real world. Think about this. Quant is a real world company with real world offices, with real world, literally, licenses. HBAR is a company with real world offices, with real world ties into the actual world, not something not something hype, not something that is, your next Shiba or your next Dogecoin or your next, Matt with dog, because these things, when regulation come into place, and don't be wrong, will there be probably a lane for something grandfathered in like a Shiba or a Dogecoin? Absolutely. But think about it. There's over 2-point-something million different cryptos. Think about that. Think about what I just said. It is over 2-point-something. Go look at CoinMarketCap. It is over 2-point-something million different cryptos out there. Just like the .com bubble, do you think they will actually survive when regulation go into play? It is going to be those ones that have stood the test of time, dealing in the realm of regulated entities, and then facilitating, listen to what I'm getting ready to say, real world use cases. Things like the RLN solves a problem with sending money across the world. Understand what I'm saying. Because whenever I look at anything that the World Economic Forum, think about that, is talking about, or the G7 is talking about, listen to me, or the G20, listen, they're especially the World Economic Forum, they say the solution a lot. When they say things like, okay, this is going to be put in place because this is the solution. But then you understand, well, why are you saying the solution when technically right now we don't have a problem? Or do we have a problem? And you've already implemented the solution. You understand the words when you read articles, Truly understand what is being disseminated to you through the likes of words. When you look at a speech from one of these big players around the world and they're talking, take in the words, because they're not just talking cavalierly like I'm doing right now. What they're doing is they've had a team of speechwriters write up words to give to whatever public that they're disseminating it to. And these words have value. Like when Christine Lagarde, in one of those first CBDC not commercials, but YouTube videos, she said that, after the testing trials, that the decision will definitely be made to create a CBDC and to make it a reality. We can't go wrong with this project. End quote. What? You have a central banker that just told you that a decision will definitely be made. Definitely? So that means that it's already determined. So that means that what you're telling me right now is literally just giving the announcement of what's already been decided. Understand what's happening right in front of your face, and you'll see that regulation falls right in place, just like the video I showed of UK in the parliament, talking about the digital pound. Understand what's happening. And like I said in America before, we may not get a CBDC, but that won't stop a Ripple with a stable coin. That won't stop a RLUSD. Understand what that is. That's technically still literally programmable money, which is the same thing as CBDC is. So if the government has regulation that says every stable coin has to adhere to these particular rules, what can that stable coin operator do but adhere to it if they want to be regulated? Understand what is happening right in front of your face. I promise you, you won't be sorry for tapping in, because this is incredible. Where we will sit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years from now in regards to distributed ledger technologies. And that's the reason why I don't say the word crypto a lot, because I feel like there is a decoupling happening from crypto and distributed ledger technologies. It's going to be down two different lanes, and you want to be walking down the lane that will eventually enter the yellow brick road. That part that's going to give you that pot of gold. Because one of those other lanes, when certain regulations go into place and they can't adhere to these regulations, they will cease to exist in your country. You better understand that's the reason why we have a Binance US, and then all the rest of you have the other Binance. Because Binance, that other Binance, cannot be in America. It is illegal. That's why we had a Binance US. So trust me, when regulation comes into place about whatever it is, whatever that entity is, can't do anything but adhere to the regulation of that country if they want to do business and be in operation in that country. So understand that a red day that's happening right now in the market, understand. It's because it is speculation and hype driven, and is driven off of news and announcements. But know within your heart that one day there will be a utility driven market, and the kings and queens of that utility, your ISO tokens, things that are being 1000% regulatory compliant. And I'm gonna keep saying it in this video because it matters, you guys. It truly does matter. Understand what that will eventually mean for some of the assets that some of you may be holding, like your Quant, your QNT, and your XRP, and your XLM, and your XDC, and your IOTAs. You know what I'm saying? All of these ISO tokens, or any other token that eventually becomes ISO compliant. Now think of any other token that becomes compliant in that country. And then mirror that with having a real world company giving real world solutions to real world problems. You better understand what utility is going to bring to this market. And yes, like I said, the utility route is a longer route. You know, you see a lot of things pop, but you also see, think back in November, you know, even before the Trump pump, we had a bit of a utility run where you saw all of the utility tokens, all of the ISO tokens running in harmony. Think about that. And that could have been some type of test. That could have been some type of trial. That could have been, right around the time that we knew that the regulation in the MiCA was getting ready to go live, or at the end of December, and maybe that was, a test run on whatever. You never know, but you did see all of them in harmony, running in unison. Now understand what that could potentially mean when we truly go into a utility run, when the market is not driven by speculation and news cycles, and it is driven by companies that are facilitating and giving real world solutions. And some of these companies are tied to global standards, ISO TC 307, ISO 222, Internet protocols, Secure Asset Protocol, SATP. Think about what that means, y'all, for real. Quant is something that is incredible. HBAR and your XLM and your XRP, you know what I'm saying? These companies like Stellar. Think about Stellar. Think about it, you guys. Stellar has a partnership with MoneyGram. They're in partnership with MoneyGram. Think about how many MoneyGram's locations there are in the world, and understand what that means once we go into the realm of Web3 and you have all of MoneyGram's processes and transactions flowing over Stellar. Because you might say, well, everybody have a digital wallet, so why would they do that? Yes, eventually. But you have to remember, there's always an adoption curve, okay? So for years, you're gonna have people still going to MoneyGram and still sending money via MoneyGram, because now it's cheaper than what it was even 2 or 3 years ago, because with regulation came the implementation of DLT. And when DLT got implemented, it took the transaction cost down to less than a penny. So that means that who's ever providing that transaction dropped their price as well, which means now the end consumer is now getting a lower price at the register. Understand what the solution is, and that's why the solution is going to go in places, because it makes transactions much cheaper than they are in the current world of today. And any consumer will always gravitate to something that is faster, which we're talking not having to wait 3 days for it to settle out of your bank account, but it's settling instantly, and things that are cheaper. They always will. This is how Amazon has become the behemoth that they are. Think about before Amazon, everybody went to the store. Everybody. Literally everybody. Now think about how many people actually go to the store versus how many people pick up their phone and go on Amazon and order whatever their heart's desire is. And it comes to their door in 2 days. But understand that 2 days is way fast. And in some cases, it's the same day now. Now we're seeing the same day. But anyway, I'll go with the 2 days. And that 2 days is way faster than if you go back just a decade or decade and a half. It went from 8-week shipping. Actually, it was 12-week shipping at first. Then it went to 8 weeks. Then it went to 6 weeks. And then when Amazon first came out, it was actually, I think it was like 2 weeks. And then from 2 weeks, they went to 2 days. And this is why they got the lion's share of even that market, because they made things faster and you can get it cheaper on their website. Understand what that means for DLT moving forward, you guys. Understand the way adoption happens. But with that being said, Stellar will get a huge portion of that lion's share coming out of that run, because it's going to take years for people to actually adopt onto using digital wallets and understanding things along the realms of this. But you already have traditional players that are tapping into things like a Stellar, tapping into things like a Hedera, tapping into things like a Quant. Understand what's happening, and utility in motion is going to be insane, because that is bringing in the mass adoption of the technology. Know what you have and know what you hold. In the words of my boy Maximus Crypto, research trumps FUD 110%. Understand, you guys, don't be shaken out of the most incredible opportunity anyone in retail investing has ever had since the beginning of time. Because most of the time when these moves are being made, it is made in closed doors, in quiet rooms somewhere, off in a corner, and only a few know and only a few profit. And what this sector has done, And that's what it is, you guys. It is an asset sector. Catch my video tomorrow. I go all over it. It is an asset sector, okay? And know that this is one of the first times in human history that retail has been able to front run the institutions. Understand what that means for utility and motion. Understand what that means when true institutional money by the trillions start flowing into a sector that is bringing a real world solution to a current problem. Follow what I'm saying. But if you made it all the way through this whole rant, type in utility. That way I know you tapped all the way in with your boy. And I am going to post that Fairyverse video at the end of this. And I'm going to post that 1920 video on this side. Follow what I'm saying, you guys, because it matters. I appreciate you for your time, because time is truly the only currency that we have. Thank you for that interaction. And like I said, if you made it all the way through, type in utility. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all already know. Peace out.